NBC News has this report. Representative Ayanna Presley will reintroduce H.R. 40, federal legislation to study reparations for slavery. Did this on Wednesday as the Trump administration leads a wide-scale rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the federal government. The bill, which had 130 co-sponsors in the last session, is not likely to advance under the Republican-controlled Congress, and the White House has previously been opposed to any reparations effort. So this is a symbolic gesture. It's obviously not going to go anywhere, the bill's not going to pass, and even if somehow, which it wouldn't, it did pass, Trump would not sign it. So it's a symbolic effort, but it kind of shows you where the Democrat Party is right now, where their heads are. And on that note, there was a bunch of Democrats that got together to talk about this and why we need reparations. Here is Ayanna Presley, for example, trying to explain it.
We can legislate justice.
Amen.
We can legislate healing. And we're certainly long overdue. And for those that would say we need to just get over it, that's interesting. When as a nation you are benefiting right now from an economy that was built on the brutalized backs and the indignities and the horrors of chattel slavery and our African ancestors.
Okay, a few things. First of all, no, you cannot legislate healing. She says we could legislate healing. No, there is no legislation that can heal anything. Nobody's ever been healed by legislation. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. I wish all physical and emotional wounds could be healed with. I wish you could pass the Physical and Emotional Wound Healing Act of 2025 and everybody would just feel better. But it doesn't work that way. And especially in this case, because there is nothing to heal. Yes, Ayanna Presley, you should just get over it. Yeah, you need to get over slavery. You do. You definitely do. Get the hell over it. You need to get over it. Yeah, your whole life revolves around pity and emotional blackmail and whining incessantly about the past. That's your whole life. And it's pathetic and it's grotesque. And you need to just get over it. Yeah. You see, because if you had yourself suffered some outrage, some indignity, some terrible experience years ago, and all you did was just talk about it and whine about it, then I would tell you that at a certain point in your life, you do need to get over even that and get back to living your life. Like, no matter what happens to you, at a certain point, you have to get over it at least enough so that you can live a life and focus on other things. And that's what I would say if you personally had suffered some sort of terrible event. But if the terrible thing happened 150 years ago to people who are all dead now, to people who are all not you, then yes, even more so, you need to get over it. Because it's not even your thing to get over. It didn't happen to you, Ayanna. You are a United States Congresswoman. You're doing fine. You have achieved nothing in your position. You've done absolutely nothing in your position. Not a single damn thing. You don't deserve to be where you are. You've done nothing for this country or even for your own constituents. And yet you still have this very powerful position that you don't deserve. So you're doing great. You're doing better than most people. Slavery did not happen to you. Stop trying to cash in on the suffering of other people. Get your own suffering. Damn it. You thief. You're a thief. You are a thief. You are stealing other people's suffering and pretending it's your own. Get your own. You know what keeps me up at night? The state of our country. But at least I'm not tossing and turning because of my mattress anymore. That's right, folks. I'm talking about Helix Sleep. Never realized how badly I needed a new mattress until I finally got one. My Helix mattress actually supports my body the way it should, and I'm sleeping straight through the night for the first time in years. The best part is waking up actually feeling refreshed instead of dragging myself out of bed. What makes Helix different is they don't just sell you a random mattress. They actually customize and match you with the perfect one for your body and sleep style. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or somewhere in between, they've got you covered. Helix has a sleep quiz that'll match you with your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes, so you can get better sleep and a better start to each day. And trust me, when you find the right match, you'll wonder how you ever slept on anything else. Right now is actually the perfect time to upgrade your sleep because Helix is offering an incredible President's Day sale. They have an exclusive offer for my listeners that's even better than what you find if you visit the website. Just go to helixsleep.com/Walsh to get 27% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase and free bedding bundle that includes 2 dream pillows, sheet set, and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. That's helixsleep.com/Walsh for 27% off site-wide, plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase, plus free bedding bundle that includes 2 dream pillows, sheet set, and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. helixsleep.com/Walsh. You know, Ayanna claims that this country, this economy was built on the backs of slave labor. That's what she just said. And this is the second time somebody has made that claim this week prominently. During the Super Bowl, some race hustler, I forget the woman's name. I think, in fact, there were multiple people who put out this thing during the Super Bowl where they claiming that, and I don't know why the Super Bowl has brought this idea out, but claiming that black people built America. Meaning what they're saying, again, is the same thing Ayanna Presley said, which is that the country was built, the economy was built on the backs of black slaves. And again, this is a claim that we hear a lot, and the notion that the argument for reparations rests really on that claim. Well, it's not true. It's just not true. I'm sorry, but it's not true. Go back and look at the numbers. This stuff is quantifiable. Cotton exports, for example, accounted for like 5 or 6% of our GDP before the Civil War. Okay, like 5 or 6%. How much of our total economy depended on slave labor prior to the Civil War and abolition? I've read different estimates. You know, you'll hear different estimates, but it wasn't more than 10 or 12%, potentially much less than that. Okay? It certainly was not the majority. Okay, anyone who tries to tell you that slave labor accounted for 50+% of the U.S. economy is insane. I mean, that's just an insane person who's never read a book in their life. No credible historian, not a single one, would tell you that. So the point is that slave labor and cotton were a relatively small part of the economy, and that is just the facts. Just the facts. Which is why, after the Civil War and after the abolition of slavery, our economy took off. Now, yeah, there was a rough period immediately after the war, obviously. I mean, it was a civil war. It killed 600,000 people died in the Civil War. But it did not take long before America was back on track. And without slave labor, the country thrived. If our economy really depended on slave labor, if black slaves were in fact the backbone, if everything was resting on the backs of African slaves, if they were the driving force of the economy, then when you abolish slavery, it would collapse everything. Okay? It would be the collapse of the country. And if it ever clawed itself back, it would take decades and probably longer. And that's not what happened. So, who did, quote unquote, build the country? Well, this country was, in fact, primarily built by white men. It just was. That, again, is a historical fact. And what do we mean by built? Well, whatever you mean by the term, it was predominantly white men. White men developed our system of government. White men came up with our Constitution and also the philosophical foundation of our Constitution and our system of government. White men were primarily the ones who fought and won our War of Independence. White men and the labor of white men accounted for the vast majority of our economy during slavery and after and before. White men were the pioneers and the soldiers and the inventors and the politicians and the generals and the business leaders, okay? Almost all of the great leaders in all of these areas were white men. Almost all of them. And white men were primarily the ones who abolished slavery on top of it. So that's a historical reality. And the fact that it's even remotely controversial to say this is such an indictment on many things, but mainly our education system. Because everything I'm saying right now, it should be like, well, it should be baffling that I'm even saying it because it's so obvious. You know, but instead this is to people who were raised in the public school system and didn't do much of their own research. When they hear a statement like, well, white men actually were the ones who primarily built the country, when they hear that, that's shocking. It's a shocking statement. And they want to deny it. They say, well, that's what do you mean? Can't possibly be true. Okay, well, again, go, however you measure, whatever you mean by built and however you measure it, what was the group that was predominantly, primarily responsible for it? And it was white men. It just was. That's all. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.